The first are different than what she's been told. So even the day at the school and what she did at school that day, her accounts of it to me are completely different.
So this is going to be the part 4 of continuing the timeline. I didn't know if anyone wanted it to be continued or not. People might think it's an old case, I've seen the info. But sometimes delivery can matter how you see things. I do think we've got quite a few cases. So what happens is when I've done the live premiere, I actually sit on many of the live premieres to engage with whoever comes on. And for this part 3 though, I didn't yesterday. I actually managed to get the RFK reading done just before, and spirit was it like Kyron's spirit in this case is just all the time. Like I sleep. So I was actually doing mapping. I was looking at the maps, putting the pings in, and I was thinking the best way for me to do this, whether it's to go live. And I've seen a comment, and in the Patreons and the members, I do live readings. So they are options. If as subscribers, and of course members, even with polls, members, as the community goes larger, members will have their own section on the community page. They see everything. They see subscribers, they see their tier of memberships, and if you're at tier 2, which is Super Soul, whether it's Patreon or YouTube, you see all the community pages. Sometimes the videos are posted as links, sometimes they're first only to members and then subscribers. The way I'm doing it though is while that is building, I have a client Patreon that I go live on, so that's always there. I am still continuing. I think you can see all the content I'm putting out for subscribers because I appreciate you as well. So with that being said, it's about if you can join live, and as it goes on, there'll be actually individual, there'll be live on the cases, but there'll be live also if someone wanted me to pull a card for them or something like that. Now with the current stage, because obviously if the members on YouTube is very low, it makes no sense for me to just go on and sit and there's no one there because I've only just started it. But we've got a lot going on, so we can discuss cases during the live premieres if you're able to attend. If not, then in the comments. I always check the comments. Part 3 I hopped on, I said hello, and I'll get the comments after, but then I did pop on again as I was pulling my laptop on to start the, after I had finished the RFK, to say hello, because I knew, I shouldn't presume, but I felt like one member will be there, and so to say hello back. I tried to check the comments afterwards that were happening during the live to respond. It can be difficult to respond because I have to type the username in. I can't type on the live chat, and I don't know if all the comments are always there. I think so far, because there's not many people, a lot of my subscribers are not subscribed or returning viewers, and the majority more watch it on TV. So your after comments also help it go out in the algorithm. So that's why I say, even if you put an image in one comment, you put several comments, it's up to you how you do it, but it does help that way, and likes do help. So I'm happy to do a live where we can discuss several cases, but, which is a possibility. The microphone might not be the best, but you can hear me. I mean, if you check the last live I did, which was actually a Patreon member that I posted, it's not the last live I did for them, but it's the live that I just posted for subscribers. There's one under the video section, there's one in the live section. That's the way it goes, basically. But it's the case of doing one at a time where at least 2 people wish to attend, so that there's engagement as we go along. I want to get this part done so we see the full story, and then I want to go into the next part, because I really want to just say, continue the downloads that I've got from day one. There's nothing from day one that I've changed. And you might have, like I said, you might have just seen a clip I added. I would have extracted the voice, I think. And I might have done a voiceover to ask you a question. I then pull a card, which I ask Kyron what he wants to say in one card. And it's so uncanny, it just ties in, okay? If you look at the card and you think of the person who was on Dr. Phil, or any person, I should say, okay, let's remain unbiased. Who would that represent? And also, I think it answers how I felt. One person is very much, and Spirit's reminding me of something that I felt very heavily. As I'm recording this, it would have been yesterday that part 3 was posted, but I want to keep rolling, so I'm going to try and get this up for you as well. Swift, quick, hard to read the guilt side. Character. Look at the last card I got there. And I'm doing this way because I might pull cards, but I actually don't want to. I want to stay. I want to keep you unbiased. Now, someone said something about, I think it was a subscriber. Yes, I know your name begins with J, but I like to, like, if you don't mind me saying your name as a subscriber, it could be your real name, your fake name. I'm saying that for other people. It's your subscriber name. I don't mind what it is. If you don't mind me mentioning it, I will mention it. Members, obviously, some people are a bit more conservative. Some people don't mind me mentioning their names, but let me know in the comments, actually, you know, otherwise I just keep it as a subscriber. They mentioned like the white truck could have been taken so the canvas can be taken back, which was something I had thought of as well. And it does give benefit of the doubt. Now, I will be adding this comment to that subscriber, and I appreciate you. I've been really trying to look if anyone's picked up on this thing that I'm going to say, and if there's an answer to it, and I don't see any answer. But let me know what you think of it. And the reason I'm bringing it up on here, because some people might not see the comments, right? So it might be to bring this canvas back, right? Still, it's not clear if school was breaking out that Friday or the following or whatever. So this fair, I said, was from 8 till 10 for parents to go around, have a look round, etc. Why was Kyron taken to his classroom upstairs, apparently taken to his classroom upstairs at 8:45? Attendance, which I presume would have been in the classroom, not at the fairs, at 10 o'clock. And I cannot find anyone asking that question. I constantly get the same timeline that I've researched and got. It's between 8:15 to 10 a.m. The fair is going around, parents arriving, people can come in. I don't think all kids were arriving. Maybe it's start. So the question I've got there, I'm trying not to talk. Do you feel that is gives an element of a bit of a planning, leaving at the right time? Does it make sense that Kyron was taken to his class at 8:45 and then apparently left, or no one else was there to take because he wasn't in the classroom at 10 for the attendance. What could be the possibility? Could he have walked down the stairs because he was alone in the classroom? This is something no one has asked, no profiler, no investigator, and I cannot find it, but it's something that it came to me, and I was like, for me, out of everything that says benefit of the doubt, I don't have no benefit of the doubt that there is a plan and a staging, which I was getting already with like the picture set up. I'm trying not to say the motive and why and the type of person, but I'm gonna say a clue here, and I can't really say. How can I put it? What's the word? Let's just say, as an example, the Kyron on the side as a case, the stepmom gives me the vibe of like Patsy Ramsey. What do I mean by that? Want to show up as the best stepmom. Kyron has the best canvas, like that kind of energy. Like, I'll do something and it'll be to the best and get that recognition. Other school mums or kids or whatever be like, well, I wish I had Kyron's mum or stepmom, really, because look at this, or look at that, or look at his sandwiches that he's got, or, you know, look at maybe he's got a treat on this day. It's difficult because I keep getting downloads and I've got notes all over the place, and I know I'm going to miss some, but I hope I just, when it gets to the next part, I'm able to state. But that gives you an idea of something. As much as people say she comes across as being, allegedly, you know, so clear that it's her, it's not clear from her, the way she's presenting herself. It's clear from some actions that don't make sense and tie in, and also law enforcement that really honed in on her. And they honed in on her because, one, they have some things that they've not told us, so they were confident in it. But this is where I say they effed up, because I feel very strongly they didn't F up, like, okay, fine, right? But there's also, if you're focusing on, let's say, the stepmom and Dee Dee, and there's me here that's saying there's a man involved somewhere, you'd want to focus on these two, but you want to see if you can get to the man in some way. If someone spotted a man near the car, someone spotted the man at the car, and I'll discuss the energy of the man. Something around that, you know that you need to give 20%, 25%, even if they were like a background noise, but involvement there, to that person to get to that lead. And that's where I feel like it's a bit eek. I'm going to try not to say more. So let's get back into it. So we got up to, what's her name? Terry leaving, and she was going to Fort Myers. Is it Fort Myers or Fred Myers? Okay. And it's like 10 minutes away. So time-wise, this is the other thing that I was trying to hold back on. Time-wise, if she did something physical with Kyron, and Spirit is reminding me of what I was supposed to say. Yesterday in part 3, when I was on part 3, and I started feeling it from part 2, I believe there's an energy of someone who is either watching the case, who was involved in the case, who is maybe really looking for their boy. Any energy that has a focus on the case has seen one of my parts, at least one of the parts. I felt the energy very strong on yesterday. I just wanted to say that these are things that I can probably discuss on Patreon and members, but and it doesn't mean anything, we're being respectful. In fact, I think yesterday's reading was extremely unbiased and given the benefit of the doubt in every situation. And we're going to continue that way. So if something physical were to happen to Kyron from the suspects, it's a very tight time frame. If you think of it, leaving the school at 8:45, 8:50, going down the stairs, you've got your toddler, apparently there was nappies as well. And that's another thing. So if you're only planning to stay, let's say there might not have been a plan to stay half an hour, but then if there wasn't a plan to stay half an hour, who called to change that plan that you suddenly leave? From what I see, there was no one. So why would you take like diapers and stuff down with you in the big bag? Because allegedly that's the reason for the other staircase, isn't it? I think the other staircase could have been mentioned. I just had a toddler and there was loads of kids flying up, but it was like I had the diaper bag and everything. And I believe I had a clip saying that, but I'll try to add that in. So it's a small time frame. 9:10 she was there. 9:12 is the invoice, and I wonder what the invoice is. Probably the earache medicine for the kid. But apparently she then went to another Fred Meyer's because she didn't find exactly what she wanted, although she bought something. But for physically something to happen from the main suspect that is being said in this case, I feel that that is a very tight time frame. I'm not sure how you are all feeling. You can also go back to my first read where I believe, and I'm going to get to the downloads and the psychic element in the next read. I've got stuff to add, but I'm trying to do, she actually got down at 9, at that Fred Meyer's, she got down with the toddler. She was seen with the toddler. She was parked further away. Again, benefit of the doubt, it could be that there's a Ford car, the Ford pickup. So that's that. Then she headed to another Fred Meyer's, and she had arrived around 9:30, and it's around 11 miles away. I believe then she went to dry cleaners just before that or just after that, and I'm going to get to the exact times in a moment. She was in there for a couple of minutes. She didn't take the toddler down at this stage at the dry cleaners. But could that be that she pulled up right in front of the dry cleaners and she just went down and gave the couple of stuff or collected the couple of stuff? Then she went to Michael's craft store, and I believe this is all in that Fred Meyer's second area. Okay. And then she was said to be driving the toddler around because the toddler had earache. Then it said that there was a ping on Suave Island, but I'm not sure if there was a camera that caught her. Now on Suave Island, as you enter, there's actually a camera that catches cars going in and cars going out. I will check there on my notes, but I think that was a big question for me. The ping on Suave Island also is a bit of a question because either the tower's not directly on the island or the tower is directly on the island, but her ping can be just before the island. Now I'm going to get to where I feel a lot of energy on the map. Then she drives to the gym that has a daycare center before she goes home, and after, when she gets home, she posts the pics on Facebook. The gym, she says she arrived at 11:39. So we're talking around, what we're talking, let's say 9:50, right, for the Fred Meyer's, the second drugstore, the Magic Dry Cleaners, Michael's Craft Store, let's say 10 o'clock, she left. So for like, she said she arrived at the gym at 11:39 and she clocked out at 12:20. Again, a lot of people are saying different time frames. This is her words. The gym says she clocked in at 12:20. So could there be an issue there? Now, at some stage, and I'll get to this, she was seen on the edge of the road. And she said, I don't really remember why I stopped. I was on my way to, you know, she was just driving around. It could be a diaper change. There's a question of whether she actually worked out at the gym, arriving 11:39, leaving at 12:20, but the gym says she arrived at 12:20. There's no clock out. And someone says that she put the childcare obviously in the daycare. So what does that mean? Your child's earache had, ear infection, pain or earache had calmed down. Maybe the medicine she got is something that helps ease the pain, that makes a child sleepy. So is that, do the daycare take a child that is sleeping? She was also said to have spoken to someone that she was actually, she doesn't normally really engage with. Again, this is a lot of hearsay. But those timings to work out is, what is that? That's like half an hour. She posts the pics on the science fair. I think at one stage she's allegedly been said to say parenting is hard, which I wouldn't be surprised, because remember through the readings what I was getting, that really she felt she was doing it all. A disconnect, a void from Cain. I don't think he was picking up on stuff very well, and he was just in his flow of what he's doing and busy with work. And the other thing I got is that she, when they actually met, she was really helping Cain take care of Kyron, because Cain, I think Cain was hardly around or at work or something like that. Let me get into a bit of the time frames that I've got exactly. Now there is, obviously I said who had probably seen and not seen. Between the 9:30 and the 9:40 is when she was spotted at the other Fred Meyer's store, which is by Andrea Lakey. They knew each other at the gym, and Andrea said that Terry had showed her the picture of the science project. They don't normally talk much. She then dropped off a couple of stuff at the Magic Cleaners, and she was alone at 9:50. Terry says she shopped at the Michael Craft Store. 10 a.m. Kyron is marked absent by his teachers, and his friends were also aware of his doctor's appointment apparently. But this again, that last line about aware of the doctor's appointment is based on the book, which is based on what Desiree says. So between, let's say, 10 and 11:39 minimum, it could be 10 to 11:20 is a void, all right? It could be till 12:20 basically, but let's say based on her time frame, between 10 and 11:39, she was driving around to soothe her daughter's earache. Now, I've looked at those roads. They seem quite bendy, and there's loads of trees. Like, you're going through actual, it looks like there's forests and woods on each of the sides that could be hiking trails and stuff. And to me, it looks like it could, you know, I wonder if it adds more pressure. Do you know those kind of roads that can add more pressure or make your ears pop? I just think it's a very long time to be driving. It's at least an hour and like 39 minutes. And then at 11:39, she says she arrives at the gym, puts the daughter in the daycare, like I said. When police had asked Terry where she'd been between the time, she said she left the dry cleaners 9:50 and her stop at the gym. She said, like, they asked her about the stop at the gym. She said that she was driving around hilly roads trying to get Kiara to nap. The child was cranky and fighty. Again, hilly roads, I believe, is based on the book. I don't think she would have said, I'm driving around hilly roads. I mean, she's not going to be that stupid, is she? But that kind of confirms in terms of what I was saying about the roads. But I don't feel like she would have said hilly roads. The truck was seen pulled over, like I said, Newberry Road. Do you know that is I believe that is one of the highlighted, on my tab, on my computer at the moment, I've already got 6 tabs open, and one of them is Newberry Road, where there's a lot of energy, and I think I've marked it. She was definitely on this road. That's interesting. Terry told police that she might have been changing the diaper. She didn't really remember what she'd done with the diaper, if she did change the diaper. That's when she stopped at the 24-hour fitness, which is south, by the way. I'm going to show you on the mapping. I need to add the fitness and the next Fred Meyer's, like this. She goes in this kind of circle, like that. She goes south. And I think Kyron is further like that. He's not south. And Dee Dee, her friend, which we'll get to in a moment, she works like here, like Germantown area. And I think their focus was here, but the focus needs to be within, I'm saying that I could be wrong, but I'm going to say the mile radius when we look at the locations. When she got home, I believe she got home around 1 p.m. and she had posted the pics on 1:20 at 1:20. What I understand is that she does regularly post pictures, but if everything that is being said, it seems like she was going out her way to show the picture of Kyron at school. So that's a question there. Remember, I'm reading a take on this, which is from the book based on Desiree's take to the author. So anything that comes up, like again, hilly roads, I'm going to mention. That doesn't make, you know, I've not heard her say hilly roads. I said I was driving round. I've heard her say that. The gym clocked her in at 12:20, like I said. And anyway, she was home by 1. Just trying to read this. Again, there's a question, did she work out? A lot saying probably not. And there's something about she probably just turned up to show people at the gym the photos. Again, this is based upon one saying, so we need to take that lightly. At 1:24, she emailed Desiree to tell her that she'd uploaded the photos. At 1:26, she emailed Desiree again, telling her about the school t-shirt order and confirming summer plans. So there was the plans to go to the mall. Again, based on what the mum says, so we have to see what feels right to you. And the mum says this would not be the normal for her to communicate that many times. And apparently they developed a system of communication where they exchanged photos on a flash drive that they put in Kyron's backpack, which means that they really wasn't communicating. That sounds fishy to me, because Desiree was fine with the setup of Kyron being at the house. So putting a flash drive that was put in Kyron's backpack sounds like a very disconnected way to communicate. Kane arrives home at 2 p.m. 3:30, Terry, Kane and the daughter go to the bus to wait for Kyron. The bus obviously says the school marked him absent. The school hadn't called. Again, a lovely subscriber had said, I mean, how can you not even, you know, the boy is absent, look for him, contact. At 3:56, Skyland School secretary calls 911 to report Kyron missing. 4:24, the school secretary calls Desiree. Desiree calls Terry to find out what is going on and tells her she's coming to Portland. Desiree says Terry sounded surprised that Desiree was going to head to Portland straight away. 4:33, officers arrive at the school and at Kane's home. 8 p.m, searchers arrive at the school. 8:30 p.m, FBI is noted. 9:38 p.m, Desiree and Tony arrive at Kane's house. That is the time frame of it. Now, 5 months before Kyron's disappearance, Terry had hired a landscaper. His name was Rodolfo. I just can hear like someone be like, what did she just say his name was? Can I say his surname only? R. Sanchez. In 2008, Kane did not know that he was doing work on the property. Approximately Jan-Feb 2010, Terry was invited Sanchez, again this is all alleged, right, to a restaurant. She told him that Kane was ABUSING, her, and asked him to help her find someone to get rid of him. She said that she feared Kane would take Kiara from her. Interesting dynamics. If you've watched, if we've followed together, you've seen my reads and what we've been mentioning. Terry told him as well all about Kane's schedule and said he always had 10K cash on him and a computer, and it would be easy to make it look like a mugging. Oh, that's kind of... Then Sanchez turned down her offer. The evening before Kyron disappeared, Kane said that the couple fought. This is also the evening that Desiree said the couple had fought, that Terry had said she'd emailed her. Again, we don't know. In the cards, I do get that they had, you know, a bit of a heated discussion. So it depends how fought. I think fought means to have a heated discussion. Some are saying fight. Kane and the marriage. So Terry had emailed a friend saying that she planned to leave Kane and the marriage the next day and would take the daughter with her. Terry denies this, but Terry did say on Dr. Phil she was thinking to leave to go back to her parents, didn't she? And we can definitely see that in the cards. So much movement. I said someone's moving home. There's talks of someone moving home. There's talks of movement, something like that. June 4th, 2010 is Kyron's taken to school, and Terry says her and Kane continue to have a sexual relationship between June 26 until June 26, when he learnt of the MURDER to hire plot. That's when he grabbed Kiara and left the house, which I also can't understand. Apparently law enforcement told him of this, so, you know, but they didn't do anything with Terry. It's like so strange. And how can they do that if it's not proven? I also understand that the law enforcement hooked up Sanchez's phone to see if, you know, conversations you know, there could be confessions, right, from Terry to Sanchez while they're talking, but there was nothing. So that what they were trying to do there had to be dropped. Now in comes Dee Dee. Dee Dee was working in Germantown in a garden area. Some say she was missing from like 2 hours, 3 hours, but actually her staff say she was on call for 90 minutes. And again, I believe that 90 minutes is from like 11:30 till 1. So look at the timings there. There's definitely something there, right? Dee Dee and Chances are described to be as Terry's love interest. This is based on that book, based on Desiree. Dee Dee moved in with Terry after Kane moved out with their daughter. Blink on Crime reported that Sanchez did some landscaping work for one of Dee Dee's friends on a few occasions that had left, and she'd left positive reviews on a site that deleted his business on 21st of June 2020. So maybe they were feeling heat was coming up around that. On June the 11th, there was a press conference held after Kyron's disappearance by 1 week. June 28th, Kane filed for divorce after learning for the MURDER plot to hire, and got a restraining order against Terry. He grabbed his things and his daughter and he left. Obviously, this is where I want to say something, just in case I forget it. What eventually happened in this story was not what the suspect, the person who is involved in Kyron, direct first hands, expected to happen as an outcome, okay? Their motive was to actually have a very different outcome. It turned into not only a bigger case and turned on them, but it also, this is a side note, right? It also didn't pan out in terms of the outcome of what they wanted as a motive. I believe that. So then that's when Terry invited Dee Dee to stay with her. She stayed for 11 days. And this is where apparently Dee Dee helped Terry get a burner phone, and Dee Dee had got one before, okay? Why? Because I believe the law enforcement was tracking Terry and noting in on her conversation. So again, is it because they have something to hide, to say, or could you be so scared because of law enforcement? You know, even if you're not guilty, anything you said could be taken the wrong way and you just don't want that risk, okay? So you buy a burner phone. So they would communicate via this burner phone. Dee Dee left the home and returned to her condo. And then she went to her parents' home. And Terry left Portland to stay with her parents in Roseburg. Kane and his daughter returned to the home. This was all after June 28th. On July the 14th, Kyron's case is officially a criminal investigation. Why didn't they? So they definitely, think of the Sebastian Rogers case, they definitely have stuff behind the scenes, which I got psychically. And it's either what Kane knows as the motivation and he's not set, because Kane is very washy in I don't mean this in a bad way, but he must know the motivation. So either he's told law enforcement and they're keeping it under wraps, or he is not saying what he knows. I'm not saying he's involved, but he knows. And another thing that was a bit strange is that at some stage, I think it was after the criminal investigation, they offered to go through Kane's home with a fine-tooth comb and he refused. So that's just something, I don't think he's involved, but again, I need to be neutral here. And the 26th of July, Dee Dee was called for an investigation grand jury, but not questioned. She was called in front of an investigation grand jury. Now, Dee Dee actually, she, at one stage, when Desiree files for a civil lawsuit, and I'm going to get into that, Dee Dee prior had complied fully with investigation. She'd been investigated for 3 hours. Her condo and car was searched, and nothing was found, right? But then when Desiree, told you it's a bit complex. I thought I was over the background, that's complex. Obviously, 3 weeks later, which was around the 26th of June as well, Kane had moved out. Terry was texting somebody he knows, okay? And I do think it was more of a get back, you know. And you know, the press conference, which I added photos and a video in, did you feel that it was a bit awkward how Terry hugs Desiree? What do you think? And some of you might feel something about the way she's leaning on Kane to be embraced. What do you think? I'm going to add that in just in case again. Then we've got basically there's no physical evidence of anything in this case. So think of the way so far it's a disappearance, but for me, when I channel, I get confirmation it's an unaliving, right? The person's no longer with us. So either missing, or if it's an unaliving case, there's very limited evidence, apparently, from everywhere they've checked. Dee Dee is unaccounted for around the same time that Terry is unaccounted for. Although some of that time Terry's already, you know, sort of home. There's the burner phones, there's the past hitman hire. There's also, by the way, back when Terry was around 20 years old, she was dating, or she had a friend, and apparently she had not hired, but spoken to someone to also get rid of her boyfriend or someone at the time, to do something to him. That is something that's also being said. It was the landscaper who came forward, Shan says, to say what happened. And like I said, prior to that, when she was around 18, there was the, you know, apparent, again, hiring or getting someone involved. But it's not proven, okay? Dee Dee worked in Germantown in a lavender farm as a gardener. She was also into fitness. She was a med school wannabe, and yeah. Terry also lawyered up, and so a lot of people were like, why would you lawyer up? I don't find that suspicious. Like, I mean, it can be, but if you're being accused of something, guilty or not, what do you think? Would you lawyer up? I would. I mean, you might not, so it depends on what you're thinking. Kane had refused the searches with a fine-tooth comb. Then there's the Michael Cook Esting conspiracy thing to kidnap the daughter. And basically when she was sexing this guy, there was also something about he had sent her a picture of where Kane was staying. So the police had thought that, okay, this is a conspiracy to kidnap Kiara. And that's when the police, Kane, decided it's time to file against Terry contempt on breaking a restraining order, okay? Because obviously Michael Cook had taken a picture of where Kane is. Kane had found out, and so it's kind of like it was sent to Terry, so it's Terry that's breaking the restraining order. And so Kane filed this contempt that she'd broken the restraining order, but he later dropped it, which is interesting. I don't know why. Dee Dee is said to be extremely cooperative, like I mentioned. Terry was asked to take a mental health evaluation. She did not. They'd searched Germantown, they've searched Dixie Mountain area. I actually need to put Dixie Mountain on the map. I don't know where that is. And Suave Island, they were the main focuses. 1 year later, the police announced that their main focus is 100 acres of land. So they'd narrowed it down. Desiree also by this time files for a lawsuit and $10 million in damage against Terry. Terry pleaded the fifth. Dee Dee refused to answer the 150 questions. That's where I said, you know, at that stage, Dee Dee didn't answer. I can't say she didn't cooperate because it's not law enforcement. Police were not very happy that Desiree filed this lawsuit, because what happens is when a lawsuit like this occurs, you can actually, the law enforcement might have to give every single evidence, everything they've got, even if it's not evidence, all their files to the courts, and that could hinder the investigation. And that's why I believe Desiree dropped the case eventually. Terry wasn't coming forward. She pleaded the fifth, and after some time, she dropped the case for that. And I believe also because law enforcement was a bit peed off with her. There is a rumor saying that there was emails from Terry saying that she hated Kyron. And what I'd be interested in, which Kane has not said anything, but there must be something here. How was Terry acting and what was she saying to Kane before they actually split up and no longer live together? Because that is also key. But that's the time frame of it, and that's all the kind of ins and outs of it. I don't know, what are you thinking? How are you feeling about this? And Terry could have been esting that man because her motive was the second thing, you know. Again, I felt like from the beginning, this whole case has a lot of sex type of energy, and she is one of those. But I mean, in part 3, I mentioned about an extended family that has some minor kind of thing on against them. The case was stalled after a year. Like at the end of July, it became a bit stalled. That's when Desiree, you know, filed that civil lawsuit. In 2013 is the date when Kane and Desiree appear on the Dr. Phil. And we know in 2016, 7 years later, it was like coming up to the 7th year mark, basically. 2016 is when Terry was on Dr. Phil. I showed some info there. Desiree on Dr. Phil said that she believes it was because Terry wanted to get back at Kane because he was cheating, or if he was cheating. I'm going to say if he was cheating, because I guess she didn't know. He got his divorce finalised and full custody of the daughter in 2013. When Terry moved away, she actually tried to change her name. She tried to change it, this is a bit weird, to Claire Stella Sullivan. Now, Claire Stella Sullivan is based upon a novel, and she was a woman who was accused falsely of KILLINGS or MURDER. And I find that a bit interesting, like either victim kind of thing, or like in some essence I can understand. Do you know when you come out of a relationship and you're like, I want to cut my hair, I want to change how, you just want to get rid of that energy. And I just feel this Claire Stella Sullivan kind of story novel is a bit weird. I can imagine trying to just change your name in total, although a lot of people will feel that's weird. Anyway, the judge denied it, obviously, because this case is going on. But anyway, Terry married again in March 2018. And obviously she managed to change her surname that way. She believes someone took him from the school. No one can prove she's lying. She'd taken 3 lie detector tests. I think one, she mentioned that, and I'm going to add the clip in, she's not good at hearing, so the person wasn't in front of her talking, so it was frustrating for her to understand the questions. I believe one of them, she got peed off because a question was Kyron with you that morning? And she's kind of like, well, that's very open because he was with her at one stage. So obviously failing the lie detector test is not proof in court. And it always comes down to the questions and also how people handle stressful situations. I mean, look at Seth in the Sebastian Rogers case. He failed his. So, but then that also, I feel like Desiree was like, yeah, 100% she's lying. Until now, obviously the body is not found, and Oregon prosecution needs solid proof, I would say. And I think this will be their only shot. So they need solid proof or the body to be found. I actually feel like, and I'm going into a bit of what I was going to start to read on, I think it's not hard to find him. In a way it is, but because of the landscape, but I just feel like it's not far out, you know. It's not like another state. It's not actually that far out, and it makes me question on whether they had cadaver dogs in the right area. But also there's something else. But even if the cadaver dogs can't reach somewhere, they can track a scent to where they can reach. And it makes me question if they did have cadaver dogs. So I'm going to leave it there. You probably have some footage maybe at the beginning or now as it ends. You can always support by liking, subscribing, donating, commenting, sharing. I'll try to be on this next one. Like I said, maybe we can do a live at for subscribers, and obviously members can join if they wish to. Yeah, so that's the total story. How are you feeling about it? Let me know in the comments and we shall get to the next part and the location. Take care of yourselves and I will see you. I really want to pull cards on justice and what I'm getting psychically in terms of finding his body. But I'm gonna leave it. We need to keep unbiased. Do you think there's enough proof that's giving you a feeling the stepmom is involved? Do you think other people are involved? Do you think Dee Dee was involved? Do you think he was taken from the school? Share it all. Let's engage. We learn from each other. Take care and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. I make reference to this in the part where we discuss more timelines. If we look at the High Priestess, the Moon and the Magician, extremely powerful trio, extremely powerful energies. Can any of these represent one person, 3 people, or not? What are your thoughts? I wanted to add that in. I've extracted the voice. Think on your feet. So I asked Kyron, and what's interesting, number 9, and I tie in 9 with his higher self. During this time, there was like quick decisions that needed to be made, and the person that needed to make these decisions, and I think this is Terry, right, was very swift and is someone who can be very solution orientated, quick on their feet, think on your feet. The fox is always like that, is able to just swiftly get the decisions and think on their feet. And it seems that like that was the energy.
Thank you. As you all know, this has been a very, very difficult time for the family of Kyron. And remember, this is the 1-week anniversary, which is very sensitive to us.
Hello, my name is Tony Young, and I'm Kyron's stepfather. The family's asked me to speak on their behalf today. I would just like to say, Kyron, we miss you, we love you, and we need you home right now. We're doing everything we can to work with law enforcement and the search and the rescue crews to make sure that you can get back to us as soon as possible.
Hi, I'm Kane. I'm Kyron's father. We want to thank the community, the parents, the children, bus drivers, and all of those who are being interviewed multiple times to help find Kyron. Thank you. We as the family know how difficult and stressful this is, but your memories and statements can help us find Kyron. We will never be able to thank you enough for that help. Finally, we would like to thank the media. If it was not for you showing Kyron on every newscast.
I do want to thank the Brooks Hill Historic Church here today, because without this little office here, we would not be able to get our story out. And we really appreciate not only all the people out there helping us, but as this church as well. With that being said, the family's going to go ahead and leave, and I will have Captain Brosh and Lieutenant Mary Lindstrom answering to make sure that you're able to get the questions to them. Thank you.
Give us time to get this done, and I'll be there to meet you.